Hello everyone and welcome to the Infertility Gal. My name is Danielle and I am brand new to YouTube. It's actually the 1st of January 2026. Who would have thought it? Time's moving on so fast. And actually sort of towards the back end of last year I was thinking, I should start maybe a Substack, or maybe I should start an Instagram or get on LinkedIn. I had all these different plans and ideas to do with women's health. And I myself, I have PCOS. I am struggling with infertility alongside with my husband, and I completed my Masters of Public Health. And so all of those things culminated together, and I was thinking, I need an outlet. I need a place where I can put all my thoughts and feelings, and I need a place where I can put all of the things that I'm finding, all of the research that I'm doing, and a place where I can offer value and give kind of an insight into women's health and how women's health has been. Do you know, if I'm completely honest with you, I've never done something like a YouTube before. I've never done an Instagram before. I've never done LinkedIn before. I've never done a Substack. Completely new for me, completely new. And guys, I have to say, I'm learning different things along the way. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. Just a little bit about me, sort of the background of me, is I work in healthcare. And I've been doing healthcare now for the last 12 years. So that's kind of my area of expertise, I suppose you could say. I actually work currently in healthcare in a care home. And so I work as a carer. And I've done, over the years, I've worked in public hospitals, private hospitals. I've worked for the NHS. I've worked in reception jobs, in clinics. I've worked in home care, looking after people in their own homes. So I've done a fair bit of different sides of care. But for me, I really want to build and grow the Infertility Girl. The process of how it came to be, I've kind of documented it on my Substack. And I went and initially I spoke to an advisor from the uni that I went to. So I go to Arden University, and at Arden, I spoke to a guy who's being involved in several startups and different companies and things like that. And he said to me, look, you have to be on LinkedIn. You must be on LinkedIn. And I was like, I'm not on LinkedIn at all. And he said, oh, that's the place to be. You need to think about your name, your branding. And I was like, name and branding? I've got no idea. He said to me, okay, if you want to start something, anything, you have a field of expertise, you have to specialize, you have to market yourself, you have to have a website. And I was like, I don't have a website. You need to look at, do you want to do a podcast? Do you want to start a Substack? Do you want to do a YouTube? What sort of medium, an outlet do you want to be involved in? And I was like, I just don't know. He said, what name do you want to be called? And I was like, I don't know. Well, he was saying, I was looking at some different ones. You could call yourself something like the Infertility Girl or something like that. And I thought, oh, that is cool. So that's kind of how I grew and how the Infertility Girl was formed. Basically because of a conversation that I had with an advisor from Arden University who looks at people with different careers and things, I was off. Up and running, as they say. But it's been such a roller coaster of a journey. I never expected, and my initial idea was to do a podcast. I thought, oh, you know what, I can write lots of things, I can write and read out what I'm saying, and I can get involved in that format, and I absolutely love that idea for me. But I haven't to now started one. But then I've been thinking for a while now, and I think I'd love to get into YouTube. And I think one of the reasons I want to get into YouTube is because I've been inspired to do so. I've been watching people like Grace Andrews, and she's been talking about how YouTube is such a platform where people community, people come together, they love to discuss things together, and you get a sense of the content that you're putting out is really adding value to people, and that's what I want. I want my content to add value to people. I want to be the go-to girl for infertility. I want to be on a mission to help everybody that's going through an infertility journey, and I want to offer as much valuable insight. I want to get as many connections as possible, and I really found since starting an Instagram, since starting LinkedIn, and since going on to Substack, so since I've started these things, the platform that I have found the most value out of has been LinkedIn. I honestly have found my biggest support from LinkedIn. There has been lots more opportunity. I've been asked to connect and meet up with people. No one's trying to sell you anything. It's just, let's meet up, let's chat about what you're doing, let's get ideas, let's bounce off each other, let's promote, or let's offer you to go to a conference. And don't get me wrong, Instagram is great, but sometimes you start following people and all of a sudden you get this ping, this little message that says, oh, get my free guide, or, you know, like I'm a health coach, or like, and I found that's more the angle for Instagram with regards to women's health and infertility. So I really want to add value, and I want to be a place where people can come and feel comfortable. And I want to be a place where you can learn so much information, and I can actually grow and just help everybody. And one of the things I'd love to do, and I've got a few different ideas, they're all spinning around in my head and I don't know where to really begin or where to really stop and draw the line. But actually, I would love to do like an infertility tea talks, or an infertility tea session or something like that, where we sit down and we discuss different topics with each other, like little Q&As, and that's just kind of something that's in the back of my head. Another thing I'd love for YouTube is I would love to give you the most relevant and global important information in regards to infertility, because it doesn't just affect the UK, and it doesn't just affect where you personally live, because I live obviously in the UK, and then you might live elsewhere. Say for example you live in Australia, I don't know. But for me, it's a global issue, and globally it affects people in different ways. Say for example you live in the US, you have to navigate infertility costs personally on your own. If you, for example, live in the UK, you have sometimes access to healthcare, so for free, and in other aspects you don't. Some people don't have any access to any IVF help at all, depending on where you live, surprisingly. It shouldn't be a luxury. It should be something that we have access to as humans. It should be a human right. But basically, having a Master of Public Health, I get to see more insights, I get to research more, I get to dive into the paper and find things out clinically, and you know, professionally. I would love to be able to share them first. And I know infertility is it's a sensitive topic. It's difficult because being in the realms of infertility is not easy, and I can say that from personal experience. My husband and I met and got married in 2019. We've known each other since 2016. We've been together since then. After we got married, we didn't think about having kids at the start. It was only a couple of years ago that we thought, oh, let's have, you know, see if we can try for children. As it turned out, we were infertile, both of us, having male factor and female factor infertility, so I can understand it from both sides. I myself, I have PCOS. I was overweight at the time that I first initially went to the gynecologist, and I had to lose a lot of weight. And to do so, I had to definitely offload off my plate my work schedule, because I was working night shift at the time. I was working like 6 12-hour shifts a week, 5 or 6 of them. I was flat exhausted, my hormones were all over the place. I had significantly bad brain fog. I wasn't on metformin to regulate my blood sugar. I was eating rubbish. Like, I was eating like pizzas from Domino's that was literally like below where we lived. My husband was going through a rough time as well, because we moved to Kent initially because of his job, and then his job fell through twice within 6 months, and there was a period where he was unemployed. So I was wrecked, to say the least. And I think a big part of why I want to share the infertility journey and struggles, because it's real life. It's real life, and it really happens. And it's from no fault of your own. It can be just the way our bodies are, and it's so unfortunate, but it's so true. And I would love to be able to build a community where we can talk all things infertility with no judgment, and a community where I can come back to and keep giving you more and more insights and more significant help. I would love to be your go-to women's health advocate and your go-to infertility advocate. That is my goal, that is my aim. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I am brand new to YouTube, so it's all just sort of me just explaining myself away. I have here a green tea from Teapigs. I absolutely love Teapigs. I'm living in the UK, so it's a brand I have over here. Whether you've got that where you live, I don't know, but I absolutely love it. And I wish you all a good rest of the day, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and go gently, as always. Okay, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.